Hey guys, welcome back. Mr. Will here for the group Everyday I'm Calculating for Tuesday, April 28th, 2020. Boy, how time's flying. So, yesterday we began to explore systems of equations. And again, systems of equations are two or more equations that share variables. Okay, so it makes the equations connected, and we can use different strategies then to solve these equations. Yesterday, we explored the strategy of using guess and check. But using guess and check can kind of be laborious when we solve these. Sometimes, and we'll click and you get it, and it is no problem. Other times, it might take you many trial and error guesses and checks, and it takes you a while. So I want to give you another strategy today, and you can slide in your tool belt to solve these. Now, again, we want to look at these equations to see what we know. Since we see that y equals x plus 2, and then in the next equation, y plus 1 equals negative 4x, we can use a strategy called substitution. Substitution is when you take this term, x plus 2, and substitute it in y, because it says right here, y equals this. And we know that we're trying to solve for, at the end of the day, x equals a value and y equals a value. So what we're going to do is we're going to substitute x plus 2 into y, and that's going to help us solve it. Let me show you how. So we know x plus 2, sorry, one more time, plus 1 equals negative 4x. Now, because we have substituted this term, x, and we've gotten rid of our y, we can solve this now. And we're going to do that by combining like terms. So we have our 2 and our 1 on this side. That's going to give me 3. So I have x plus 3 equals negative 4x. Okay? Now, what I want to do here is I want to get my x's, or my variable terms, all on the same side. So since I have a positive x here, I'm going to be subtracting. X minus x is going to cancel each other out, but whatever I do to one side of the equation, I have to do to the other. So I have negative 4 minus x. That's going to give me a larger negative. So I have negative 5x. So I have negative 5x equals 3. Okay? So I'm going to get rid of that negative 5 by doing what's called the inverse operation. Since I'm multiplying here, I'm going to divide that, and I'm left with just x. Whatever I do to one side on the equation, I have to do to the other. So I have, well, I can move my negative up a little bit. I have negative 3/5. Okay? Negative 3/5 equals x. Now, the exciting part is that gives me the answer for x. But I can use that answer for x to now solve for y. Does anyone see how I might be able to do that? Well, if I plug in my value for x here into this equation, I then can solve for y, because this says negative 3/5 plus 2 equals y. So what's negative 3/5 plus 2? Well, let's do it together and make sure everyone knows how to do that. Negative 3/5, and then I have plus 2. But 2 written as a fraction would be 2 over 1. Sorry, my plus sign was a little aggressive there. So, all right, now what I need to do is I need to make my denominators the same. How do I do that? By multiplying by 5. So I'm going to make an equivalent fraction of 10 over 5. Okay, because I just multiplied both the numerator and denominator by 5. So when I have a negative adding to a positive, I'm going to find the difference. Okay, so what's the difference between 10 and negative 3? That's right, 7. So it would be 7/5, or positive 7/5. 5 goes into 7, That would be 1 time with 2 left over. So my value for y would be 1 and 2/5. So let's recap. We just solved this system of equation. The strategy that we used was substitution. We used the variables, we used the equation that we knew for y, and we substituted this in the place of y here, okay? That's what this term here was, right here. We then solved by combining our like terms and our variable terms, and then moving our variable over to the one side of the equation by using the inverse operation. We solved for x. That was our -3/5. We then took the value that we solved for x and plugged it back into our equation, -3/5 plus 2. We added them and got our value for y, 1 and 2/5. So you just solved this system of equations using the substitution method. Now, I'd like you to try. Please complete the independent practice. Ask questions. If you have any questions, please make sure that you're asking them. I am here wanting to help you through this new and somewhat complex topic. Work hard, ask questions, and I'll see you back here on Thursday.